Hello Ride On people. So the table behind me is full of stuff because I'm going to pick up a new bike, and I'm going to pick it up from Eurosport Asheville in North Carolina, which is about 200 miles slightly northeast of me, and I'll be going there tomorrow to pick up my brand new BMW R1300 GS Tramontana Earliest green metallic with everything on it, basically the kind of the premium packs and the touring, the comfort, the innovation packs, including the Kropovich twin exhaust and the forged wheels, which I'm excited about. Less unsprung mass, easier to clean. And it's an option 719, so it's got all those lovely machine parts, the levers and the cylinder head covers, and you know, the brake and master cylinders and all that kind of jazz, machine levers, and that exclusive paint with the gold flacking it, and yeah, you know, Jerry lent me his for a test ride, and I lent him my Street Triple RS, and ironically I end up buying a GS 719 just like his, but with forged wheels rather than the gold laced. And he fell in love with my Triumph, and he's bought the Cosmic Yellow Street Triple RS. And if you can only have two bikes, wow, what a combination, eh? The Triumph Street Triple RS for kind of semi-sane speeds, for having lots of kind of sporty fun on hot summer days, and then you've got the GS with its you know, well, everything really, you know, active cruise control, blind spot monitoring, heated pillion and passenger seats, heated grips, electric windshield, you know, sporty graphics, TFT. And my one's got the automatic height adjustment, what do they call it, AHC, automatic height control, yeah, AHC. And you know, that gets your feet nice and flat at standstill, raises it for optimum ground clearance and dynamic ability when on the go. So pretty excited. It'll be my fourth GS, I think, and my 41st bike, I think, overall. And yeah, it should be fun. A few of you, after I demoed the R1300 GS, said, oh, when are you going to buy one? When are you going to buy one? It's pretty obvious that I love the bike and that I thought it was the best all-rounder in the class right now. And I've owned a lot of bikes from the class. You know, this will be my fourth GS. I've owned 3 Tigers, 3 Multistradas, and you know, it's just hard to beat these big, tall adventure all-rounder sport tourers, really. And you know, I kept saying, well, my Multistrada's not done that many miles. You know, maybe it's a great bike. Happy with it. More happy with my second Multistrada, the white one, than my first red one. And I'm in no hurry, but a couple of things happened really. You know, my sister Annette had a bad road accident, not on a motorcycle, but she was in intensive care for a long time, quite critically injured. And one of my subscribers, Road Glide, or RG as I call him, you know, he keeps on saying life's too short, buy the damn bike. And I thought, you know, I have the money, I'm not getting any younger, and why not? You know, I can afford it. Let's just go for it this year rather than next year. And so I decided to change my bike, and initially I wasn't sure whether I was going to buy a GS because I was still quite tempted by the BMW S1000 XR competition. And in fact, I turned down one last year when I got a speeding ticket and thought better of it. And I actually had another deal done with Huntsville in Alabama. And I thought about it, and I thought, you know, I did a pros and cons list, and I really thought if it was my only bike, or I had lots of bikes, maybe I'd buy the M I should say, M1000 XR competition. But I have two bikes. I already have a bike that's quite sporty, and I have a practical bike, and I do ride all year round. I do ride in winter, so I do need a practical bike for, you know, long ride outs and touring trips away. And so the GS is the obvious choice. It's the best in class at the moment, arguably the best all-rounder ever made. And so I decided to decline that. I also had the option to buy another one, and I declined that as well. I did ride it though, because both Eric and Steve from the Ride On crew, they both have them, and I have to say, if you see my video on that, some holy fast. One of the reasons that put me off, actually, how effortlessly easy it is. Probably, well, not probably, the fastest cross-country bike ever made, that M1000 XR competition. It's fabulous, very hard to fault. It's even kind of pretty much got rid of its vibes, and is quite characterful as well, but it's too fast for me in terms of, not my ability, but in terms of how fast I want to ride on the road. I don't want a frenetic fast ride that's gonna end me up losing my license, and I need something that's more practical and all-rounder for when I often ride a couple hundred miles, you know, on a January, February cold morning, you know, when it's like 35 degrees. So the GS was the obvious choice, and it's so nice to go back to a bike that is shaft drive and has that BMW build quality and reassurance. There was some, like there is with any clean sheet net new bikes, a couple of teething problems with it. The first bikes that came into the country had the wrong stickers on them for EPA. Then there was kind of regulator housing fault that was they were kind of melting, so they had to change that with the supplier. And then there's been another issue which I can't quite remember, and an issue with the panniers as well, which I'm reliably informed will be resolved in the next couple of weeks. But you know, that's what happens when you have a clean sheet bike, irrelevant of how big the manufacturer is or how knowledgeable they are. But the foundation is excellent, and BMW stand by their products, and they make good any initial issues in terms of warranty claims and stuff. So yeah, pretty excited to go there tomorrow. I won't do any footage riding on the bike because, you know, I already have a video out on first impressions riding. If you search on Richard.Dunn Ride On R1300 GS, you'll find that video and you can watch that. But I'm going to record a little bit of video just to kind of give you my thoughts along the way, getting there and seeing the bike, and you know, riding it to a hotel for an overnight stop, and just my general thoughts of it. Just after I, you know, before I pick it up, when I pick it up, and after I pick it up. There'll obviously be a lot more videos coming out in terms of the R1300 GS, but for now, stay with me and you'll enjoy the journey with me. Looking a little bit damp out. Well, the forecast is for showers on and off all the way there basically today, about 200 miles, and pretty similar tomorrow, but with the risk of severe thunderstorms, which is just the thing you want on a brand new bike with brand new tyres, right? So anyway, I'm a Brit. We were born waterproof, so I have no issues riding in the rain. Doesn't really bother me. It's a shame to get your new bike dirty, but hey, that's what pressure washers are for, right? So yeah, I got the right t-shirt on today. Flat out better. Pretty perfect for picking up a new boxer. I've got my KLIM K52 armoured jeans, my KLIM GTX Outlander Gore-Tex pants, which are relatively new, and I'll be taking, what else will I be wearing? A Rucker armoured shirt, a Knox shell, and Knox pants. I do find I like Knox gear. It's lightweight, it's strong, it's well made, and very waterproof. And I'll also be using some Knox leather gloves today as well, which are Gore-Tex as well. Got my brake free, got my cardo, got my glasses for riding in, got my neck tube, got an apple, got my MkII Neotech 2. I've actually got a new helmet. There'll be another video coming out on the new modular helmet. I'm trying something different for a change, but I do like my MkII Neotechs. I've had a couple and this one's done me proud. And then the rest of those boxes are really for the new BMW. They're Garmin mounts and Garmin power cables and the BMW connection lead, so that I can disconnect the OEM lead from and remove the cradle, which is really ugly, for the nice new little discreet one, and from Max BMW. And then yeah, just wiring the new connector, and then it should just plug straight in. So I'll be doing a different video about that. But yeah, today looks a little bit damp, but you know, hey, it's always a good day when you're picking up a new bike, right? So I'm in good spirits, and we'll see how the day progresses. Hopefully we're going to get there with me dry at the very least, even if my immaculate multi that I'm trading looks a bit worse for weather when it gets there, and we do get some rain, but anyway, we'll see. Well, I'm at a place called Cornelia, and it's about 70 miles away from my home, so I haven't got wet so far. I've got all the waterproofs on, but so far so good. And I've got another 65 miles or so to go up to Cashiers in North Carolina for lunch, and then after that I'll be heading up to Mills River, just south of Asheville, which is where Eurosports Asheville are based, and that's where I'll pick up the bike. So let's go and get some lunch, and let's go and get the bike. Well, here we are at Asheville Eurosport, and there's my bike. It's got my name on it. Got the lovely forged wheels, lovely Earliest green colour, and the Kropovich double silencer. So I got to the hotel okay, and about, I don't know, 180 miles in the dry, but the last kind of 15 miles or so really rained heavily, and now it's a bit of a pea super. It's gone very very misty. I suspect that will change in the morning, but I'm glad I got here in the light and before conditions got like they currently are. But the bike has been faultless. I had to take it off-road within about 10 miles. I picked it up and it literally had 0 miles on it. How often does that happen? And within about 10 miles I was suddenly on a forest service road with gravel and mud and all that jazz. But hey, that just reassured me why I keep buying big adventure bikes. It's not because they're proper dirt bikes, but they can handle that kind of stuff with ease. So let's have a quick look at the bike. Yes, the pretty forged wheels are already muddy, as is the exhaust system. They're both about $1,000 each, and the whole bike is wet, as you can see, and dirty already. But hey, you know, like I say, this is why we buy these type of machines. Pretty happy overall though. Got the Beeline doing me good service to get me home. I'll be taking all this junk off, putting my Zumo on it, but the bike was great. I transferred my tag for me. So back in my room now, and let me give you some initial impressions of the bike. I felt immediately at home on it, as you often do with the GS, and the Torrance tyres felt pretty good. They bedded in very quickly within about 10 miles, which was just as well because it was suddenly off-road in 10 miles. Some fabulous riding roads up here in North Carolina, and I took some amazing back roads that I've never ridden before, kind of back cave and some roads around Lake Lure and stuff, and just amazing, and really bedded in the tyres quickly, and brilliant for the engine and gearbox, up and down the gearbox all the time, and you know, up and down hills, so good torque for the engine to bed itself in. And I have to say the bike feels absolutely solid. I mean, I think I've got a good one. The engine and gearbox feel very, very solid, very tight, and everything works really smoothly. The clutch is great, the quick shifter is great, all the controls really work well for me. Compared with the Ducati, it probably won't have quite the top end, and the weather protection on the Ducati is particularly good, although I found out in the rain that the GS is really good. They put the screen actually in the highest position, and it's electric, so it, you know, goes up and down. And with the screen in the highest position and the screen raised to its highest position as well, you know, my kind of 6'2"-ish, it was perfect, and so I really appreciated that. Comfort felt pretty good. I think the seat is harder than the Multistrada. I think I'm not really sure about that. I think the ride quality at the rear is about the same as the Ducati, but the front end feels much better. I am a bit of a telelever fan anyway. I think you get enough feedback with modern telelever, but you don't get quite the jarring, so it gives a good you know, ride quality. I think the most noticeable thing is how effortlessly it is to ride. It's so untiring to ride quickly through really quite twisty terrain, kind of real world medium speeds, so kind of, you know, kind of 50 to 80 miles an hour if you like. Just kills it because it's just got the most torque at the lowest revs. So, you know, you're flying along at, you know, 65, 70 or whatever it is, and you realise that you're only like third or fourth at 3,500 revs. It's really easy and effortless to make up ground. I think it still sounds a bit noisy at standstill, but then again, so does the Ducati. But on the move, it sounds really nice. There's a few pops and crackles on the overrun, and it just sounds sweet. Has quite a little bit of a rorty noise to it, actually, when you rev it out a little bit. And the switch gear I found pretty easy to get used to. And the bit that confused everybody is the new kind of burger button, but it's pretty straightforward. You go through the menu options, and if there's something that you want to be the primary function, so I want the screen to be the primary function, you push in the scroll wheel, and that puts a little dot by that, and that's suddenly the primary function. Every time you start the bike and you press the up and down on the toggle button, the screen will raise or lower. The second thing is your secondary function. I want my heated grips to be my secondary function. So in the menu, you go to your heated grips, you're holding the burger button, and then that puts a little burger sign by it, and that becomes your secondary function. So normally when you're riding along, if you just do up and down with the rocker, then it's going to raise and lower the screen for me. If I want the heated grips on, I can just press and hold the burger button. It's like a hotkey, and it will instantly go to heated grips, and then the rocker switch will go up and down the heat settings for the heated grips. And you can do it for heated seats if that was your preference, or anything else. If you've got active cruise invoked, in the settings, you've got it set to active. Then when you use cruise control, it's just automatically active, so you never need to go into the menu to select cruise control, active cruise control. You just put it on and it works from the dedicated button on the bars. So all in all, you're not leaping through menus, and because really typically you're only going to use two things, the screen or the heated grips, and it's either immediately available, the primary function on the rocker switch. For me, that's the windshield, electric windshield, or you press and hold the burger button, and then your secondary function will invoke. And for me, that is the heated grips. So it's actually pretty simple once you get your head around it, but it seems to be confusing a lot of people on the internet. So that's basically how it works. What else can I tell you? Fuel economy seems to be amazing. Ducati is a thirsty beast, and I'd forgotten how frugal the BM can be, and it will probably get even better once it's running, to be honest with you. But I've not been treating it particularly gently today. I've not been thrashing it because it's brand new, but I've been just riding it pretty much normally, and fuel economy has been exceptionally good. And I put a little bit of gas in it, and it said the range was about 220 miles, which is phenomenal. I was kind of expecting about 200. Maybe it will be kind of 200 in the real world, but that's still kind of a good 25-30 better than the multi, so that's really good as well. I don't notice a massive amount of difference in agility, to be honest, with the forged wheels compared with the spoke wheels, having ridden Jerry's. They both feel pretty similar. Maybe it's slightly more flickable, but it would be so negligible, the average rider wouldn't notice. But they're beautifully finished, they're beautifully made, and they're just a lot easier to clean. And that was one of the things that was really appealing to me. I've had plenty of bikes with laced spoked wheels, and they're a pain in the A to clean, and those alloys will be a lot easier to clean. Although I think the gold suits it, with the metallic green paint. So I think the 719 with the gold spoke wheels looks really good. I kind of almost wish the Forge were available in gold as well to kind of match it. But having said that, black's usually, fairly good at hiding minor dirt, and not like the dirt I've put on it today. And I'm pretty pleased with that. And the spec overall is phenomenal. It's fully loaded. It's got every pack that BMW offer, premium innovation and comfort and so forth, and the forged wheels and the Akropovich. Wasn't that bothered about getting the Akropovich. It's no louder. It does have an internal baffle. Maybe I'll remove the spot wells and remove that. It's a bit of a pain to get out, but you can do it. That makes it just slightly louder, but it looks nice. And of course, Akropovich don't make junk, right? But the AHC is great, the automatic height control. Even though I'm tall, I don't really need it. It's so nice when you're getting off the bike and on the bike to just step off and step on it if you're tall, rather than the usual stand on a foot peg and then swing your leg over, which I have to on the multi and the GSA and basically every tall adventure bike. So that's really quite nice when it's stopped and it's at its lowest height setting. Just easy to swing your leg over and back. Standing up is not quite as easy as the multi. The multi's got a little bit more leg room, and the bar foot pegs to the bar ratio is a little bit higher or longer. So if you're tall, it's a little bit easier to stand up on the multi than it is the GS. But that's what happens when you make things smaller, more compact and lighter, of course. but it's still quite comfortable. The foot pegs are beautifully machined on the 719, you know, it's a feature of the 719 pack, but they're not really that wide, and so they're kind of semi-comfortable to stand up on, to stretch your legs, but not necessarily any better than the multi, really. You know, if you're going to take it off-road, or you really like standing up to stretch your legs a lot, you probably want some wider ones from SW Motec or somebody. But the machined levers and machined heads and, you know, some little machined parts here and there are very nice for the option 719, I must admit. And I'm a sucker for metallic green. My Rivian R12 truck is metallic green, and it looks great, particularly in the sunshine, which is not sunshining today, but Jerry's one looks amazing with the gold graphics and the metallic green paintwork. So yeah, first impressions are good, and I'll provide, before I end this video, I'll provide a little update tomorrow of how the journey home's going and whether I notice anything extra that I want to mention. Well, as you can see, it's pretty damp start, and I've just dried the bike off with a hotel towel, and I'm just going to skip breakfast and make my way more or less directly home, because although it's going to be dry this morning, there's a major storm brewing just south of Atlanta, and I want to be home before that hits. But let me just show you what the view is like from Switzerland in Spruce Pine, North Carolina. That road there is the 22A, the Diamondback. See the fog there above the mountains, beautiful. So I'm at a petrol station, BP, in Candelier, which is just kind of west of Asheville. Got my waterproof jacket on, but braving it with the jeans because the sky doesn't look too bad at the moment. But blue sky is where I'm heading. But bottom line is there is a massive storm south of Atlanta, and don't really want to be caught in that. So I've forgone some of the nicer riding roads home for a more direct route, but still managed to do the Diamondback 226A if you're ever in North Carolina. Great road, and there'll be a couple of snippets on the way home worth riding, but mainly I'm taking the freeway. The bike is feeling pretty bedded in by now. It's only done about 120 miles, I think, something like that, but they've all been super twisty, second, third, fourth gear, up hills and down hills, and you know, bedding in the gearbox and engine nicely, and it just purrs along. Super smooth, super comfortable, you know, such a nice freeway bike, and really nice in the mid-range. You know, if you're traveling along at kind of 45 miles an hour at say 4,000 revs in fourth gear or something like that, it's just super smooth compared with the Ducati, which is a bit lumpy. Ducati gets kind of smoother at the top end if you really like wringing the bike out. But so far, anything else I've noticed, the seat is about as comfortable as the multi, but it's not quite as wide. I think they've pandered to the shorter people to try and get the bike catered for tall and short people. So I could do with half an inch on the width there. Also, the Ducati has the best top end, no doubt, and is arguably better looking. But in actual fact, in every other measurable thing I can think of, the GS is certainly the equal of, if not the better bike. So first impressions, I'm pretty happy, really. You know, if you've got a late model adventure bike, it's a lot of money to change them for something new. But if you know, and arguably that's not worth it really. So that's really down to you and what your finances are in your pockets and your desire to change your bike. But if you want to change your bike and you're going to get a big adventure bike, the GS certainly ticks a lot of boxes, and so far I'm pretty happy. We'll see how the rest of the journey goes and whether I get any wetter. So I stopped off for brunch at Waffle House in Clayton, and it's brightening up actually, and just checked the weather forecast. It should be dry at least till I get home. We're probably going to get some rain this evening. There's a monster storm. Looking at the radar, the storm's as big as a state, so it'll be pretty heavy, but it may just clip us, so we'll have to see. But the bike is being faultless really. I did find one of the bolts on the end of the handguard is a little bit loose. It's just a star drive. I tighten that up when I get home, and they don't come assembled on the bike from the factory. It's something the mechanic at the shop has to put on, but that's really the only slight fly in the ointment so far. Bike has been great. Cruise control works beautifully. I prefer the on-off control of it. It's like a little kind of tiny, hard to describe. It's kind of like a little thumbnail that you push forwards or push back on a BMW rather than a big rocket switch like for the Ducati. And yeah, it's handling wise is just superb. I've really lent it over quite a big distance on both sides yet. I've not troubled the edges of the tyres yet. Ground clearance seems to be pretty similar to Ducati. You can find the limits with your feet at least. You're not necessarily scraping foot pegs, but with your toes, if they're a little bit bent down and the bike's really leant over, you might clip your toe a little bit. But other than that, handling is superb. You know, as good as a sports bike really at legal speeds at least. You know, very stable at high speeds. You know, standing up on the pegs and through long sweepers. And yeah, so far so good. I'm actually using the pocket in the tank to put my phone in, play my music and stuff. I do find getting the USB into the socket is very fiddly. I kind of gave up. I'll have to do it when I get home, but my phone is surviving under its own power anyway, so yeah, all hunky-dory really. So next stop, home. So home safe and sound. 240 miles covered this morning, and I could have taken a more scenic route and got home a bit later this afternoon, but I figured I'd get home while the going's good. Unfortunately, I didn't get rained upon, but you can see the ground is wet and the sky's full of clouds, so it's probably just as well I came directly home. Well, it's the next day now. On getting it home yesterday, I fitted a Garmin Zumo to it. It's a little bit more convoluted than just fitting it GPS to the old GS, but I've got a video coming out of that, so look out for that. I'm going to be putting on the quad lock today and the tank ring for my SW Motec mini micro bag, and fitting the Beeline, which is always a great backup navigation, and is what got me to Eurosport Asheville and back, because of I'd already removed the Garmin from the multi that I traded in. Eurosport Asheville were great. Big shout out to Gary Cox in sales there. Absolute painless way to buy a bike is to speak to Gary there, and also Denise in who did all the paperwork. Just superb, really lovely lady to talk to, and very easy to do business with. And I was really in and out of the office within 5 minutes, and just throwing a check at her, a couple of signatures, done. Exactly the way it should be, exactly the way it isn't at many dealers. So kudos to Eurosport Asheville, and good place to buy a bike, good people to do business with. Final thoughts on the bike. in the cold light of day, a couple of days after collection. Yeah, loving it. Really like it. It suits me and my needs. I think all the adventure bikes are incredible, and there's not much to choose between them, other than a preference slant. You know, if you really like a sporty bike, you like Ducati. If you really like to go off-road, you'll like the KTM. If you like long service intervals and British bikes, you'll like the Tiger. And if you want a bike that's been developed for 40 years and is a known quantity, good residual values, and this year, because they all kind of leapfrog each other every other year or so, but this year is the best all-rounder in the adventure category. You know, you want the GS, and my one is particularly nice spec. I don't think you have to go that mad. You can get a base model white, and just put a couple of packs on it and you're good to go. It's not cheap, but hey, look at all the bikes, none of them are cheap now. If you get a fully loaded Ducati, it's 30 grand, fully loaded GS is 30 grand. KTM slightly cheaper, but you'll lose that in residual value anyway. Probably the same with the Harley, to be honest, Pan America. Tiger is kind of splits the difference a little bit, and is a good option. I like my last Tiger. I like my last Multi. Really no reasons to change either of them other than you fancy a change and you want to, and you know your finances allow it. To upgrade from the old GS, you're going to notice a difference. It's more compact, it's lighter, it's more agile, it handles better, stops better, goes better. It's got some more features now, like the electronic screen and active cruise and blind spot monitoring and so forth. But it's not night and day different. If you've got a nice GS already and it's in good condition and you like the bike, hey, just keep it, put some more miles on it. But if the time is right to change and you want to upgrade to the new one, or you're thinking about an adventure bike and you want something that's comfortable and feature rich and is quite simply the easiest bike in the world to live with, you want the new GS. Anyway, the GS is a great bike. I'm very happy so far, and there'll be more content videos coming out on it. Alright guys, have a great week. Hey you, if you want to become one of the Ride On people, don't forget to subscribe. Ride often, ride carefully, ride on.